In this episode of Meet the Property Guy, I'll be answering a very particular question that I've always been in a lot of investors' mind, which is does it matter when a land is dry land or if his land is wetland? Because I've seen a lot of people make investment decisions based on I don't want any land that is not a dry land, and I've also seen people miss a lot out of fantastic real estate opportunities because they don't want to buy a wetland. All right, in case you are coming across a video like this for the first time, this Meet the Property Guy Property Channel, and this will discuss everything real estate for first-time investors, avid investors, real estate enthusiasts. You've got an investment in Nigeria already. You are about to start investing in Nigeria already, or you don't even plan to invest at all, but just want to like keep yourself up to date about what's happening in Nigeria, what's happening in Nigeria's real estate space. Then this is your go-to channel, and I'll also invite you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And if you have subscribed already to our channel, I'll also suggest that you go a step further by clicking on the bell button and turn on notification for our channel, so that as we are dropping this video, you get notified instantly. Now, as of today, for a lot of the fastest appreciating locations in Lagos as at today, around 70% of those locations, you are not going to see a dry land. As at today, you mentioned Eko Atlantic. Eko Atlantic is even recovered from the sea, so it's not a dry land. Basically, talk about Banana Island. A lot of Banana Island also. They did a lot of what they even call this thing when you get land back from the lagoon, or you get land back from land reclamation. So Banana Island also is mostly reclaimed land also. Talk about Lake Phase 1, talk about Ibrahim Adesonya, Ogombo, Songotedo Axis, and talk about Ibejuleki also. It's not dry land. And I've also seen a lot of people also fall into different mistakes, different investment traps, all in the name of they are looking for a dry land. So does it matter if a land is dry land, and does it matter if a land is wetland? Now, a major concern a lot of people have with not wanting to buy a land that is not dry is the cost of construction. Because when a land is a wetland or swampy land or waterlogged land, or whatever that you call it, because wetland also have different topographies. So the land can be wet because it's waterlogged. The land can be wet because is a swampy land. The land can be wet because it's a reclaimed land, and the land can also be wet because it's below sea level. For a lot of places in Ibejuleki, they are below sea level. So, and that's why you are going to see some estates or some land, and the realtor is telling you, you can see this land is dry land, look at the soil. A dry land or a wetland is not about the soil. So you can go and inspect a land physically, and then you see it, this land is even a dry land, but that does not mean that the land is dry. Because when you do your soil test, when you want to build, after you have bought the land, you do your soil test, and I tell you, sorry, you cannot do so thing. You can be like, no, I went there myself, I inspected, blah blah blah. So a land being dry is not about just looking at the surface. Most times it's about the texture and the strength of the soil underneath what you are seeing on the surface. And that's why sometimes you see a land, someone will do a raft foundation, and you see that same, around that same vicinity, another person will do a pile foundation. That's because the soil underneath that location, their strength differs. Some parts, the soil underneath can still take something, can still take the weight of the building. And some of them, the soil underneath is even bad. You have to go in deeper before you can get, or you can reach the solid soil. So that has been the major fear for a lot of people, that to build on a land that is not dry is more expensive. Yes, I agree to that, because even for you to fence on a wetland, you have to do rafts, and Just fencing as at today's market can cost you between 7 to 9 million. Just the fencing. You have not started to build though. Just the fencing. Compared to a dry land that you just have to dig, do blinding, and then start putting block on the soil. That dry land now, maybe you just spend like 2.6 or 2. Or let's say 3 million for the fencing. And for a wetland, you are spending 9 million on the fencing. So you can see the difference. But in an investment perspective, there is no advantage. If you buy a dry land and I bought a wetland, in terms of investment, you do not have any advantage over me. So the question is, this land that you are buying, are you buying it for the return or are you buying it to save costs? Because if you really want to make money, particularly in Lagos today, you want to invest in very good location, very high cash flow location, very high resale value location, then you are buying a wetland. 100% is certain. Including if you are buying that land in Ibejuleki. Like I said, most of the land in Ibejuleki are below sea level. Now, let me explain what I mean by below sea level to you. And that's already what is happening with the coastal road. Now, the coastal road now, let's say for example, I'm just making an example. Let's say for example, the coastal road now, when after the filling and the concrete, let's say the coastal road is at 10 meters. The height is at 10 meters. Now, the natural default level of the land there is at 2 meters. So, which means that all the land to the road, there's already an 8-meter deficit. If you understand construction, you always know that if you are building, your building have to be at a higher level than the road, not at a lower level than the road. Which means that for this land now, you have to fill it at least to come up to 11 meters. So that it will be at a higher level with to the road, so that all the water that is coming from your compound will flow into the road. Not like the water from the drains from the road will flow into your own land. And that's where you see challenges with a couple of estates around the island. VGC had that challenge. This shopping complex at the Bamadesonya, HFP, also have that challenge. When there is rain, flood moves from the road into the building, not from the building into the road, because those buildings are at a lower level to the road. So, and that is most of the sea level for the road, for the properties and the land in the Ibejuleki too. So, can be seeing the land that the land is dry. Look at the soil, is dry land. Yeah, but that land is by default at lower than sea level and lower than the road level, because all road levels will be higher than sea level automatically. So it will be lower than the road level, and you have to fill that land to be higher than the road level before you can build. So if you bought land in Itunu Residential, you bought land at Itunu City, you bought land at Amen Phase 3, you bought land at anywhere at that location, Fairmount, your land is below road level by default. You are going to fill. It's certain. Nothing you are going to fill. You are going to do filling, because that's the natural topography of all those axes. They are all below the sea level. So, and when the estates are going to pick the road alignment or the road level, all of you have to fill your land to go higher than that road level, so that the drains from your land can flow into the road, or the drainage of the road drainages, and not that the drainages will be flowing into your compound. So that's the thing about the Ibejuleki. So Ibejuleki too is not dry land. Even if you are buying land in Odeomi, it's not dry land. It's still going to be below sea level. So you have to match up your land to the road level, and that can be a difference of 9 meters. I'm just giving an example. It can be a difference of 9 meters, it can be a difference of 8 meters, it can be a difference from 6 meters, and so on and so forth like that. So in terms of investments, it does not matter. You can buy a wetland that is a swamp for 20 million and the value can go to 80 million. And you can go and buy a dry land for 8 million and the value will go to 15 million. So in essence, you are likely to even make more profits, get a higher resale value, get a higher cash flow from whatever that you put there from buying wetland. Like Phase 1, Ologolo, Ikate, they are all wetland. And even if you come to the mainland, that and let me leave the island, let me come to the mainland. Mainland too is wetland. The entire Surulere is wetland. Where we put it that we want to start at Itire, we are doing piling for Itire. We are doing piling because and we are just going 2 floors. We are doing piling there, so it's not dry too. You go to Shomolu, you go to Baiga, you go to Ilaje, the same thing. Most of them are not dry land, basically. For a lot of the places that are even dry, they are already populated. So if you are going to see any vacant land on the mainland, vacant, the reason why a lot of people have left that land vacant is because it's wet. It's a seriously wet land. That's why everybody have built there, because they know that the cost of construction is very high. So you can put your head and you realize that the cost of construction is very high. So in a lot of ways, if you want to build in Lagos or you want to buy a property in Lagos, in a lot of ways, around 90%, you cannot avoid it. You are buying wet. All right. So if you want to you have further questions to ask me about this, you can drop a comment. And if you also like, you can also reach out to me, and I can give you clues and give you different ideas about maybe you want to do construction, or you want to build, or you want to take possession of your property. Then I can make suggestions and also give you some professional advice regarding that. So I still remain the number one property on the planet, your property advisor, property consultant, Rabi Mustafa. Thanks once again for watching our videos, and see you next time.